Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame, here in the beautiful Bowl Campus Center. Tom and his wife Jennifer have been on campus since early July, and I hope that some of you had the opportunity to meet him over the last 3 months. Tom comes to us from the Chadwick School in California, but he has over 30 years of experience in education and has worked at some of the very best independent schools across the country. We are very pleased to have him here at the helm, and without further ado, I'll give him a chance to say hello and update all of you on some fall athletics that are happening here at ULS. Take it away, Tom.
Thank you, Cressy, and good evening, everybody. It's a treat to be here. My first Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and so I enjoyed getting to know some of you tonight and feeling the energy and the love in this room. It's inspiring to me and many others who spend our days here. So we're glad you're here, that's for sure. I'll tell you, before we get going, I would be remiss if I didn't take just a moment to reflect upon the importance of the magic of athletics at any stage in a child's education, especially given that we're sitting in this beautiful facility where kids spend their afternoons with smiles and full of challenge and entertainment and hard work. It really is pretty powerful. I've had the good pleasure of appreciating that through coaching football and swimming and baseball, and also through my own time playing football and playing basketball. There are a lot of memories built there. But I will tell you this, the educators I associate with every day might cringe when I say this, but it's true, so there's no denying it. The single most important educational experience I ever had was playing high school football. And I mean that sincerely. And it was because of the adult running the program, Doug Williams, I'll never forget it. So while I don't certainly have any awards or ribbons from my experience, I, and perhaps many of you, are a living testament to the power of high school sports and the way it shapes children's lives in so many ways. I try not to relive what I might think of as the glory days. I do from time to time, but the memories have, become a little more vague. But the reality of it is, the alumni we're going to celebrate here tonight, they competed at extremely high levels. Certainly a higher level than I ever did. And they won critical games and state championships. And while I have no doubt that those victories were important to them, I'm willing to bet if we spend enough time interviewing them tonight, they would tell us what they really remember and what they really value were the friendships, the time with teammates, the overnights, the early season practices, maybe the pranks, but especially the coaches, the people who shaped their lives, and so many other things that matter even more than the victories do. But the fact of the matter is, when we hear about those stories tonight, we'll be reminded of the great legacy of athletics here at this school. You walk back and look through the Hall of Fame wall up there and read stories in this school's nearly 150 years of existence. There's been a lot of great things that have happened over the years, and so tonight to celebrate that is an important part of what we do. Now the great news is, for me in my first year, I come into a situation here where the tradition of athletics at University Liggett School is continuing in very real ways, and I see it all the time when I'm out there. I mean, our boys soccer team right now is 10-0. They're ranked number 1 in Division 4. In fact, I saw Andy here tonight, and I think we got to find him a little competition because they haven't let a goal in 7 games. I mean, way to go. Our defending state champ boys tennis team is ranked number 3 as they go through the gauntlet of regular season play, so they're moving along nicely. Our 2022 state runner-up field hockey team is in a rebuilding year, but they got a great core thanks to Coach Amanda Amin. There's 27 players out for the team. And when I see these girls out there, they are committed, they are passionate, they are dedicated, they know what they're doing. And I look at it and say, wow, here's a program with a very, very bright future. Our football team, again, a sport that's special and dear to my heart, they all are, but is looking great under Coach Kevin Glenn. Kevin has come in and just created great energy in the program, has the kids off to a 3-2 start, and as I observed by text and communication, as some of you saw last week, even in some of the most heart-wrenching losses like we had last week, there are great lessons to be learned as they almost came back from a 25-0 deficit at halftime. They lost out at the last minute, but nonetheless, they're off to a great season. And then, of course, volleyball and cross-country are thriving and doing well. So wherever we go on this campus, athletics are alive and well. Now, we're lucky to have some great students here enjoying these sports. But just like Mags, Kevin, Abby, Bruce, and Tom, they might someday find themselves being celebrated for their contributions to sports here, as we will do tonight. That's why these events matter. They help us to remember what's important in a child's life and their development, and why this calling is so important to us. Now, I can talk all night, but in fact, there are people who can talk even more personally and passionately about the experience because they've lived it. And so with that, I can't imagine a better person to turn it over to than our Assistant Head of School for Athletics and Ancillary Programs, Dr. Lathan Williams, class of 2003 and a 2019 inductee into the Athletic Hall of Fame. So Lathan, it's all yours.
Wow, what a pleasure, what a joy. I must confess, this is one of my favorite nights of the entire year. No pun intended, nights, go nights. This is special because we get to not only reconnect with those that represent our past, but we also get to introduce them to our current and also be able to see the hope for our future. So this is awesome to be able to link our alumni and to be able to celebrate their successes, their achievements. So many of you that are being honored today you have enriched your own life and your own journey, but also the lives of those that were around you and that came before you and came after you. So let's keep that in mind as we recognize you, that it wasn't only your achievement, but the achievement of so many others that contributed to your success, and then your success contributing to theirs as well. So just let's give it a round of applause for all of our inductees tonight. Our first inductee of the evening, Liggett lifer Mags Dillon. Yeah, go ahead. One whom I was able to walk these hollow halls with myself and to be able to see excel in the field of play and the courts of play as well. She was a scholar athlete who excelled in softball, ice hockey, and field hockey in her time here. Mags went on to Princeton and continued to compete in athletics by playing rugby for 4 years, and then supported the Lao Rugby Federation, which has helped promote women's rugby through Asia for over a decade. And then there's Kevin Espy, whom I also got the privilege of another Liggett lifer who was not only academically gifted, but also a superstar on the football field. He played basketball, lacrosse, baseball, and even ran track. It's no surprise that he wound up playing at Columbia for 4 years football, and is one of their all-time letter winners there. And then moving on to Abby Tompkins Johansson. Yet another Liggett lifer who made her mark as an exceptional field hockey, soccer, and ice hockey player. She led her teams to victories at the local, regional, and state levels. And naturally, she wound up playing D1 soccer at U of M, where she continued to shine at an elite level. It comes as no surprise then that Abby continued her involvement with sports as an adult by working with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees. Let's give that a round of applause. And next we turn our attention to our Guppus guys. Grosse Pointe University School. Bruce Baird and Tom Gage. Bruce played 4 sports during high school, including soccer, basketball, tennis, and baseball. He didn't just play on these teams, but he competed and won at the highest levels. A team MVP, he won many local and state accolades and was indeed a multi-year tennis state championship winner for both the team and as a singles player. Bruce attended Wesleyan University, where he competed in no less than 6 sports. And finally, Tom Gage. Tom competed on 5 different sports teams while here at Guppus, including baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and ice hockey. He received varsity letters and also co-captained a few of these teams. Tom was a Terrell Newman scholar who would have no doubt received accolades in his writing, if you could be, all conference in that as well, right? He turned his love of sports into an incredible writing skill, a lifetime of highly acclaimed sports journalism, writing for many outlets including the Detroit News, where he was the Tigers beat writer from 1979 to 2015. Tom is one of the most highly respected baseball writers and authors to ever put pen to paper. And as such, has received countless awards and accolades, including, but not limited to, being inducted into the Writers' Wing of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. We could go on and on about Tom and others, but in the interest of time, I encourage you to refer to your program book for more specific information about the incredible accomplishments of our inductees. But we'll get started with telling you this. The Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame was established in 2011 to recognize our rich athletic history and to honor the achievements of student athletes, alumni athletes, and coaches who made significant contributions to athletics at University Liggett School and beyond. It's not only about what you did here. A lot of you have done awesome things beyond these walls. If you haven't already seen it, there's an Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame display in the back, and it serves as a visual reminder of our athletic history and gives us a way to highlight our past and future Hall of Fame inductees. Our newest inductees tonight are on that board now. If you haven't already checked it out, go take a look after tonight's ceremony. Speaking of which, I would like to mention that there are a few past Hall of Fame inductees in the audience tonight. Lauren Harrison. Let's give a round of applause for them. And I'd like them to stay around until after so that they can have a picture with our current inductees as well at the conclusion of tonight's program. Now it is my pleasure to announce our first 2023 inductee of the evening, Mags Dillon. University Liggett School, class of 2002. Mags is being introduced tonight by his friend and teammate, Katie Andrzejkowicz. Katie, please come to the podium.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all of the inductees here tonight. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you to introduce our first inductee this evening, Mags Dillon. As I was writing these remarks, Katie Durno sent me a copy of some of your stats so that I could prepare. And as I read over your many achievements, I thought about 2 things. One, I have no idea how I'm going to get this into 3 minutes, but I did time it, Cressy, and I hope not to see that red flag. And 2, the second thing I thought of was Mr. Schmidt. As I looked at this list, and I pictured him quietly reviewing all of these statistics, and then whipping out his signature red felt tip pen, and then just vigorously writing all over it and handing it back to me. Calmly, coolly, letting us know that we got 50% for all of your many achievements here at ULS, because he would have definitely recorded so many more other things on your geology trips, etc. And that was just at your time at Liggett. So, in any case, this list is very long, and it proves that you really deserve to be here, Mags. That through your incredible journey, your life has taken you from Liggett to Laos and everywhere in between, and curiosity and excellence are your constant companion. Tonight, your teammates and your friends and family and community are here to celebrate you, and we could not be more proud. And so in spite of knowing that Mr. Schmidt could do this introduction far better and would have lots of notes for me, I do know that he would be very proud of you too. You began breaking records and barriers at Briarcliff during middle school football, and you continued your athletic and academic success through your entire career at ULS. In upper school, you were varsity ice hockey co-captain and earned all-state distinction. Known also for your team signature, not looking, photo in your yearbooks. They will grace the pages forever. You were named first team all-state as a hockey player, your senior, or field hockey player your senior year, but of course, I knew you best from the softball diamond. As a softball team captain, I remember you not only as the loudest and most enthusiastic teammate, but I do believe still to this day that we were the only team that cheered in German, and probably still. Today, you still are able to hold the school records for career batting average, .605. First on-base percentage at .696, which is extremely impressive. And in 2002, you led our team to an all-state record that we still hold. Gross Point, as of today, which I checked before I got here, Gross Point Woods University Liggett School of 2002 still holds the average team, season team high batting average record of .463. And of course, Mr. Schmidt has the trophy, so we will be giving that back to the school. In college, you helped lead Princeton to win the Eastern Pennsylvania Rugby Union and Ivy League Championships in 2003 and advanced to the USA National Rugby Championship Games in 2004 and USA Rugby Sweet 16 in 2006. Your career in rugby took you across the globe, inspiring a growing love of the game in Laos and in Asia, and creating opportunities for women in sports and growing the game across the globe. I could go on and on, but suffice to say, in addition to these incredible achievements, it's without a doubt the joy and spirit you bring that makes you the best teammate, best captain, best colleague, and the best friend. You've got an incredible ability to see the potential and possibility, as you did with me as a little 8th grader who was here as a prospective student. And the people that are around you know that. You dedicate yourself to help them see the potential and achieve it, and you can always be counted on to be the loudest person cheering for them along the way. So tonight, we get to add another accolade to your already impressive collection. Gatorade Will to Win Athlete of the Year, Asian Rugby Football Union Women's Rugby Development Award recipient, Pennsylvania Rugby Union Ivy League champion, and perhaps most notably to this audience, Faculty Emeritus Glenn Conley's list of the top 5 4th graders of all time. But tonight, I'm really proud to be the first to congratulate the legend himself on your newest title, Hall of Famer. Congratulations.
I also hope to not see the red cards tonight. Thank you so much for that amazing and overly generous introduction, Katie. And thank you so much to everyone who played a part in organizing this really special event. Especially Katie Durant, who's not here tonight, but she's been so amazing for months putting this together. It's so meaningful to be here with the whole ULS community, and especially with my teammates from middle school and high school, Dawn, Lauren Parrott, Steph, Katie, Julie, Lauren Elbow, I'll never call you Harris, sorry. I'm lucky to have had great coaches throughout my life, starting with my brother Sean, who taught me how to tackle in the backyard, my dad Gary, who coached Little League and taught me how to hit a baseball, and my mom, who in addition to shuttling me around to 15 years of practices, games, and sports camps, taught me the self-management and interpersonal skills that are critical to success in sports and life. And above all, I'm grateful to my parents for choosing ULS and for working so hard so I could spend my life here. We were all really lucky to have great coaches at ULS, and I want to thank them for the time and energy they dedicated on nights, weekends, and vacations so that we could compete and strive to reach our potential. Mr. Conley, my 4th grade teacher and the legendary baseball coach, taught us to win with humility and accept defeat with grace. Mrs. Stackpole taught us Irish dance. I can still do it, especially after a few Guinnesses. And she builds a tradition of excellence in women's sports at ULS, a tradition carried forward by athletes like the Tompkins sisters, whom I looked up to as a younger student. Coach Pelto welcomed me onto the football team with open arms, and after a full season of playing nose guard, he even let me in for a snap at quarterback. I was standing in for the legendary Chris Getz, who's now the GM of the Chicago White Sox. Congratulations to Chris on that amazing accomplishment. And I totally botched the play. Mr. Whitmer hammered home the importance of backwards crossovers. Thanks to him, I remained somewhat competitive in beer league hockey. Coach Fowler, Coach Faubert, Coach Algren, our field hockey coaches, made us run a lot, but they pushed us hard to unlock the best in us. Coach Zukarukov stayed positive no matter what the scoreline was in our hockey games, and there were some ugly ones. Coach Corbin and Mr. Overton unfailingly supported our softball team. And of course, as Katie talked about, Mr. Schmidt. He not only bought a school bus and drove us to Florida for spring training, he also leveraged sabermetrics to manage us to success. Did you know that the inspiration for Moneyball was actually Jim Schmidt in the 2007 softball team? Little known fact. When I sat down to think about an anecdote that encapsulated my experience of sports at ULS, the games and practices blurred together. What I do remember with clarity is the time they tore down the old McCann rink. After practice one day, in the lead up to the demolition, we bought spray paint and graffitied our locker room. For me, it was a low stakes but rare moment of breaking the rules. After spray painting the locker room with inside jokes and colorful imagery, we salvaged a panel of one locker with the word Miami spray painted onto it, a nod to the Will Smith song that was the centerpiece of our locker room playlist. You remember that song. It's cheesy as hell. It became our talisman. We carried that piece of our locker room with us to every single game. Wherever I go now, I carry with me a piece of every locker room of which I've been a part. The relationships I built through sports, in the Grosse Pointe community, at ULS, at Princeton, in Austria, and beyond, have defined my life. When I went to Princeton, I joined the rugby team, a pivotal choice that gave me the chance to play, coach, and lead in rugby programs in the US, Europe, and Asia for the past 20 years. For 3 years, I worked closely with girls and young women in the capital and in rural communities of Laos. I also worked with players, coaches, and administrators from Iran, Thailand, and Pakistan, hosted delegations from Afghanistan and Japan, traveled to the UAE, China, and Kazakhstan, all for rugby. As board chair of Princeton Rugby, I worked with players, alumni, and administrators to elevate the women's program to varsity status. It was a 5-year effort that culminated in our first varsity game last fall. What I took away from my experiences there, in Laos, in Asia, and at Princeton Rugby, were the friendships I built with my teammates, my colleagues, and fellow advocates for the game. In short, sport has been a platform for building relationships with people from all over the world. Closer to home, it has been a vehicle for building relationships with people from across all lines of difference. In an age of such polarization, it's especially important to have positive, unifying forces to rally around and third spaces to gather in. Whether we're competing for championships, coming together on the sidelines of youth soccer practice, or sitting around the TV at prom, watching the Red Wings fight their way to another Stanley Cup, it will happen again in our lifetimes. Sport is a platform that brings us together, and I'm grateful for all of my teams, and just as grateful for the team around the team, the coaches and administrators, the match officials and the scorekeepers, the spouses and the partners, the family and the friends who've cultivated and continue to nurture the ecosystem that makes these opportunities possible. you know you gave us far more than just a game. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Kevin Espy, a member of the class of 1998. He is being introduced tonight by his brother Brad Espy, class of 94. Brad, will you come on up to the podium?
Thanks for having us here, the whole family. We're here to obviously honor all the great athletes from Liggett that are being inducted, especially for us. My brother Kevin, see some familiar faces here. Didn't get a chance to mingle with everybody. We were running late as usual. So those of you that know me know that that's something pretty typical. Also, those of you who know me know that I'm usually not very short-winded. And I was told, as everybody else has alluded to, that we have to keep this to a minimal and a couple minutes. So I got Coach right here telling me, just like I was in third grade again, right? So, big deal. But yeah, we're really here not to talk about me. We're here to talk about my brother. So, I guess we'll start. This is gonna be hard. That's the other thing. I'm an emotional guy, so I might break down a little bit. Shed a few tears here. Bear with me. Yeah. So. Kev, man, it's hard to talk about. I love him so much. And just, it started way back when. As a kid, we knew he was going to be a great athlete. He would hang out with me, my friends, and I was hanging out with kids that were older than me, and Kev was still, he was hanging with us. He was playing ball. He was tackling football in the street, basketball in the backyard, getting slammed around, by me and my buddies. We didn't give him a break, right? I didn't give him a break. My cousins are back there. They know me. Hey, Kev, we treat him like he was as old as we were, and sometimes, push the limits on him. But Kev never cared. It didn't matter to him. He took it. He took it like a champ. And, he kept on moving. He kept on fighting, and he kept on doing what he needed to do. He never really backed down from anything or anybody, whether it was his big brother, his dad, any big guy on the football field, any guy on the basketball field. It didn't matter. Kev wasn't going to back down. And that mentality carried him since he was a little kid all the way through where he is now. I mean, this guy is he's a soldier. He doesn't break for anything. He's a rock. You see him up there making moves on guys. His athletic ability, he used it as a vehicle his whole life. He used it as a medium to bring joy to our family, to his friends, to his kids now, to his wife, to all of you guys. I got a chance to see him play. I mean, this dude was amazing on the field, especially football. That was his thing. Like, he was, watching this guy play football was, it was something else. I mean, people talk about Barry Sanders. We're from Detroit here, right? So everybody knows about Barry. But this guy was like mini Barry Sanders. If you didn't see him play, you missed out. I don't know. Back then, they didn't record a lot of games. My dad would try to record it, but he missed all the good stuff. He was here, Kev, all right, Kevin, come on, Kev. The camera was back there, and Kev was over the touchdown. He did that to us in lacrosse and all the sports. So I know he's here watching over us, enjoying this celebration. Kevin in college wore the 24. High school, he was a 34, like my dad at Wayne State. So, keeping in tradition with that number. Yeah, man, this guy, every sport he played. So football, basketball. I mean, you didn't think a guy Kevin's size was going to be a great basketball player, but man, he could ball. That kid could ball. I mean, he could hoop. He could, Brewington's back there. 6 foot something tall. Didn't matter. Kevin go head to head, one-on-one. Didn't matter. Take it. Lacrosse. I mean, that's my sport, right? I brought that into our family, and man, Kev, if he wanted to, he could have passed me in lacrosse if he really wanted to. I mean, that's how good of an athlete he was. He's that good of a guy. He's that good of an athlete. He's that fast. He's that quick. He's that strong. And yeah, man, it's just hard for me thinking back through all this stuff, man. Just all these memories of this guy and watching him and just seeing him grow up and watching him turn into a man, right? I mean, he was this little kid that could do all these things. And now he's finally, grown up into a man. He has his own kids, played football at Columbia. Again, same thing. We were like, dude, you're going to go play college football, D1? Yeah, I got this, no problem. Went and did it. Didn't even think twice, right? Big guys here from his football team from CU. Didn't matter. They'll tell you the guy could take a hit, lay guys out. I think the first time I saw him up there, ran back a punt return as a rookie. Pretty sweet. So yeah, man, he just continued this path, leveraging sports, leverages as an adult, in his professional life, as a teacher, as a coach. And, I think at the end of the day, there's always these debates in our family about who is the best athlete. And, my dad played at Wayne State, I played at Penn State, we got some athletes on the other side of the family who played D1 baseball and D1 basketball now, but, I think it's still a tie between Kev and his namesake, my grandpa, Dick Bucky Buckles, who's a four-sport All-American, and Kevin Richard got that name, and he's carried it on. So, Kev, I'll give you the honors. You're the best athlete in the family. Come on up.
Thank you. Thanks, Brad. Walter, Brad, goes by multiple names. Steve, bro. Thank you, Liggett. Thank you to all coaches, all the administrators, my family, my friends, my teammates. Brad talked about being long-winded. I'm the opposite. It's humbling. Thank you to the other honorees tonight. You guys are all great. Excellence. When you think about excellence, the quality of being outstanding. Liggett, excellence in academics. Excellence in sports. Excellence in athletics. This wasn't something that, growing up, being a Liggett lifer from 3 years old all the way up, was something that, I always wanted to make sure Liggett was always at the top. I knew when I got to high school, that was my focus, was to make sure we were excellent. And, we got championships, Metro League, went to state finals, we made it. And you look around the facilities now, this wasn't like this when I played. We ran the other way. Yep. Jim, we played across the street. They've done some things. Thank you, Lathan, for being the athletic director. And when I think about sports and what it's done for me, all my coaches and everyone, I think about family. And to be on a sports team, it's being part of a family, and that family continues on for life. I have players, teammates that are here today that they're like brothers. I'm going to have that connection with them for the rest of my life. Guys from college, guys from elementary school, guys from junior high, and that's what it means. And it starts way back. My brother alluded to this. My family. Growing up, whatever holiday function, whatever we were doing, it was going to revolve around whatever sports game was on. The Lions, the Tigers, the Pistons, Red Wings, whatever we were doing, we were watching the game. That was always on the TV. Started with my grandfather, my 98-year-old granddad is here. Never missed a game. Coached me in high school, and I know he'd be proud of this moment. I wish he could be here. My grandpa, he's not here. Like I said, he was the athlete, referee for semi-pro football for 50 years. So just family, right? That's what athletics is. And
family continues on to this day. Guys from college came out to support, like I said, guys from high school. And just want to thank everybody that's here. Congratulate all the other honorees. And go Lions.
For myself, that honor of the best athlete in the family might even trump the Hall of Fame induction. So that's a pretty special admission. So but with that, again, thank you, Kevin, thank you, Brad. I'd now like to ask Millie Gervais, class of 2000, to come to the podium next to introduce Abby Tompkins Johansson, class of 1997, our next Hall of Fame inductee.
Good evening. As Clayton said, my name is Millie Gervais, and I'm honored to introduce my sister, Abby, to be inducted into the next class for the Hall of Fame for ULS. Abby and I were both Liggett lifers, and so we've gone through this program and have many familiar faces out here. And definitely, as the previous people have said, it really made our history and our past and helped us grow as people and as athletes. Although Abby's statistics are plentiful and could share a lot, I would be remiss if I did not share that her determination, her dedication, and her grit on and off the field allowed her to have an amazing career, both with her soccer career, her collective career, all of that, but continuing into her career now as an adult. She is successful with almost 25 years at the U.S. Olympic Committee in sports management, and an inspiration to all for her passion for this industry of sport. She is so very deserving of this award, and I couldn't think of a better person. At this time, I'd like to invite Abby's daughter, Ellie, to come up here and help me give her the award. I think Ellie is going to bring my guys, George and Henry. It's a big family ordeal here. And then Abby, please come up as well.
Thank you, Millie. I would like to thank my parents, Joe and Sue Tompkins, my husband, JJ, and my daughter, Ellie, and of course my sister, Millie, and her family, for their unwavering support throughout not only my athletic career, but my journey through life. Like many of you in this room tonight, I'm so fortunate to be part of the ULS community. In fact, I feel even more fortunate to be a lifer. Liggett is more than just a community to me. It represents a family, and I'm so thankful for the teachers, coaches, teammates, and lifelong friends who helped shape the person I am today. I would like to acknowledge Joe Ritchie, who coached our women's soccer team to a 4 state championships. Ice hockey. Mr. Ritchie had 2 sons at our school, but no daughters, so I hope he realizes how much his contributions meant to us. I'm also particularly thankful for David Backhurst and Kurt Haggerty, who gave me the opportunity to play indoor soccer as an 8th grader and supported me throughout my high school athletic career. I'm also particularly thankful for the female coaches and role models I had in Muriel Brock, Romilly Stackpole, Vicky Fowler, and Anna McMillan. As I played every day on the ULS fields, I can vividly recall Miss Brock with her trusted golden retriever watching that day's event, rain or shine. Each of these women challenged me and supported me in reaching my full athletic potential, all while serving as shining role models, generously giving their free time to us. They were always supportive, and you could tell how much they cared for each and every one of us. I'm also extremely grateful for my teammates, many of whom have become lifelong friends. As a small school, ULS supported the opportunity for everyone to participate on a team. While not everyone may have shared the same athletic abilities, each member of the team was able to contribute in a meaningful way. Whether it was a strategic vision of the field of play or a good sense of humor, there was a great sense of camaraderie. Following my career, I played NCAA, my high school career, I played NCAA soccer at the University of Michigan, where I was not only an active member of the soccer team, but I also became involved in our Student Athlete Advisory Council. After graduating from Michigan, I was fortunate enough to earn a role with the U.S. Olympic Committee, where I have been for the last 25 years. Thank you once again to Liggett and my outstanding coaches and teammates for helping shape the person I am today.
But now we'd like to ask Jack Tibbetts and Blake Barrett to come to the podium to introduce their dad and grandpa. And next inductee, Bruce Barrett, Gubbis class of 1968.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the University Liggett School for such a great event, and thank you for congratulations to all you other inductees. My name is Blake Barrett, and it's an honor and privilege to introduce my father, Bruce Barrett, as the next inductee into the athletic hall of fame. Sports has always been a huge driving force in my life. The life lessons learned from a loving father in many different fields of sport have followed me in middle age as guiding principles for what it is to live a life as a person of intention, determination, and most of all, joy. I was lucky enough to have a father who valued the traditions of sport and found a calling as a youth sports coach in both soccer and baseball. Always a well-respected leader amongst his players, my father valued sportsmanship, respect, and above all else, having fun. This was a principle he celebrated by never holding practice outside of games during the season. Pre-season was for practice. The regular season was a time for youthful exuberance experienced by all as a team. As a coach, my father's first and foremost concern was making sure every kid played and acted honorably and with a massive smile on their face. So on behalf of your many players, thank you very much. Now, after spending nearly a decade away from home, I'm blessed to be back in Buffalo, go Bills, and continuing our lifelong experience of sharing the field of play together. This time on the golf course, different game, but same value, life lessons, and paternal support. I'm very proud to report actually to this wonderful gathering of folk that no less than a month ago I achieved victory on the golf course, both in stroke play and match play against my father for the very first time in my life. As one of my close friends and also another playing partner of ours so eloquently put it, I don't know what's more impressive, you finally beating him or him holding him off for 40 years. So thank you so much for being my coach, my teacher, my playing partner, and most of all, my father. And now my nephew Jack would like to make the final introduction.
Like my Uncle Blake, my papa's played a huge role in my love and passion for sports. My earliest memories of him and I are with the golf club baseball in my hand. He is one of my biggest fans, making sure he goes to sporting events for me and my sisters in Alabama and never missing one of my baseball all-star tournaments. My family and I are so proud to introduce my papa, Bruce Barrett, for induction into the University Liggett School Athletic Hall of Fame.
That's gonna bring tears. You think you were young? Oh, I got the same problem. That's incredible. Good evening, everybody. I guess one of the extra perks of being a little older, shall we say, and being inducted into the Hall of Fame is having some special individuals introduce me. I can't think of anything better than my son Blake and my grandson Jack doing the honors. So thanks to both of you for that wonderful introduction. And thanks also to my daughter Ashley for being here to receive this prestigious honor. I want to thank the ULS Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame Induction Committee, and especially David Jones and our guests for this great honor. A special thanks goes to Katie Durham, who unfortunately, as you know, could not be here tonight, and all her associates for putting this incredible event together. I also want to congratulate the other inductees and their amazing accomplishments. It is a privilege to be inducted with such a stellar group of individuals and athletes. And please forgive me if I refer to ULS as Guppus on occasion, which it was back then in the 1960s. Old habits are hard to break. My love of sports began at a young age. I remember attending many Thanksgiving Day Lions games with my father, the first being in 1956 at Briggs Stadium. Some of you remember that. I know that qualifies as ancient history to some of you inductees today, but it was a long time ago. Lions weren't very good back then, but they always seemed to rise to the occasion against the Green Bay Packers. You remember that, to claim victory more often than not. I remember attending Redwood games at the old Olympia Arena, where sometimes the rats were more numerous than the fans back then. And I can't forget the Piston games at Cobo Hall. But probably one of the special memories was the year I graduated in 1968, when the Tigers had that amazing World Series run, came back in 3-1 against the Cardinals to win the World Series. And I had gone off to Westland, and I was there that year, and well, 3-1, we were betting cases of beer back and forth. And when I was down 3-1, double it. So for the semester, I had stacks of cases of beer in my dorm room, and I used thanks to the Tigers. Tom also, Lance Parrish here, which I'd be remiss not mentioning the 1984 Tigers. Tom's just finished a book he said on that, which I'm looking forward to reading. I remember an incredible 35-5 start to those Tigers. I remember just the incredible. I remember Kirk Gibson hitting that big home run off of Goose Gossett at the deciding game. So a lot of these memories are all flashing back to me. My first experience, though, with organized sports was when I was 9 years old, and I was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals Little League team. It was then that my first coach, one of many over the years, that would leave a lasting impression on me, came into my life, which was Art Getz Sr. And of course, one of my teammates back then was Art Getz Jr., who had a lifelong impact with his dad on Little League Baseball in Grosse Pointe. Little did I know my relationship with Art would continue a few years later at Guppus, where Art would become a star athlete, football, basketball, and baseball, and be inducted into the U.S. Hall of Fame in 2012. Art and I were members of the baseball team, and he was our top pitcher. Basically, by the process of elimination, I became the catcher and caught many of Art's games. Early on in one game, Art threw a blazing fastball at the knees of the hitter. Ball said, I growled a little bit, didn't say anything else there. But he said, okay, let's try another one. Let's try a curveball. Next pitch, beautiful breaking ball came in just above the knees. Ball said, I said, that looked pretty good, sir. Didn't hear any response from the umpire. Okay, the next pitch was another blazing fastball. You guessed it, right at the knees. And I said behind my mask after he called the ball, all those are beautiful pitches right at the knees. They were strikes. Well, the umpire was about 5'8". Called time, came around to sweep off the plate, and as he was doing so said, son, they might have been strikes, but I can't see over a 6'5" catcher. I couldn't get down lower to him. So he said, if you want your pitcher to get more strikeouts, tell your coach to find another catcher. Well, Bill Hindle, our coach, couldn't find another one. Art lost out on a lot of strikeouts over the next couple of years, and a much loftier place in the ULS record books for strikeouts. So my apologies to Art for that. But Art is just one of the examples of the many teammates that I know all of the inductees, past and present, would agree contributed to our individual and team successes. I was honored to have played with Chuck Wright, an original inductee back in 2011, who has given so much to the ULS community over the years. Harris Brown, a 2014 inductee, and Topher Ware, a 2020 inductee, were teammates on successful basketball and tennis teams that I had the privilege of calling teammates. But no matter what their abilities, all the athletes on our teams played vital roles in the accomplishments of all our sports, and thus in the honor we celebrate tonight. Likewise, I'm indebted to the many coaches that set a goal of competitiveness and winning, while at the same time never forgetting the importance of sportsmanship and respect for one's opponent. Bill Hindle, Eric Schreeman, and Dick Erickson were all great coaches, and Bob Wood, whose family has generations of success as athletes and coaches at ULS, stood out for me as a coach and mentor, especially as a tennis coach, where he achieved local, state, and national recognition. He applied analytics on the tennis courts decades before analytics became the buzzword. I heard Moneyball earlier. Well, Moneyball started that, and now analytics permeates all of the sports. But Bob's encouragement and support set an example for me when I coached numerous youth sports teams over the years. In closing, I would not trade any of my experiences, both on and off the court, of the years spent at Douglas. The size of the school, and I had 50 in my class at that time, made us invested in all that went on in our school, whether it be academics, music, art, or athletics. We supported each other in our endeavors, and I felt that support from fellow students, faculty, and support staff every time we took the field report. Again, thank you for this amazing honor, and I'm humbled to be part of the legacy of Douglas ULS athletic teams.
Seeing Grandpa pass such a legacy down to his son and grandson, that's a special thing. Congrats again, Bruce. And now we'll move to the legendary Chuck Wright. Grosse Pointe University School, class of 1966. We'll have him come forth to the podium where he will introduce his dear friend, teammate, into the Hall of Fame. Come on up, Chuck.
I was a guard on his team, too. Oh, first of all, I have to say congratulations to Katie and Cressy for all these wonderful memories you give us with these special nights. And also, obviously, the other inductees, Bruce, Abby, Kevin, and Max. I mean, you guys have all done so much for Liggett Athletics. But it is a real thrill for me to introduce Tom Gage, a close friend for over 60 years. Something personal I can share about him. He loves trivia, and his favorite game is Jeopardy. So I'll start out with a final Jeopardy challenge for all of you. The category is infamous people, and here's the clue. First, Grosse Pointe University School hockey player in Compass history to be sent to the penalty box. Who is Tom Gage? You gotta make it a question, that's correct. Tom Gage. Furthermore, Tom considers it a badge of honor. Dirty player. Tom has received many more, much more prestigious awards, honors since then. His many awards and accomplishments are obviously listed in the program. There is certainly evidence of his status as a legendary journalist and more recently a successful author. But how did he reach this pinnacles of his profession? First of all, Tom has always had a multitude of interests. You've heard about his 5 sports that he played, and of course, baseball was his favorite. He wrote for the Periscope, the school newspaper, and participated in the winter show. But little did he know what an important part of his adult life baseball would become. Tom thought he might enter pre-law at Washington League, but quickly discovered that it was simply not for him. His passion for sports, combined with his love of the written word, made journalism a natural fit. His first newspaper job after graduation was at the New Orleans Times pitching booth. In 1976, he joined the Detroit News sports department, and the rest is history. Being a beat writer for a Major League Baseball team requires a tremendous amount of endurance. There are only a few days off, April through September. The constant travel and so many late night deadlines can be a real grind. Fortunately, Tom thrived in this environment. He says that even today, he does much of his best writing in the wee hours of the morning. He has covered the Tigers from Mark the Bird Fidrich to Sparky Anderson to Miggy. It's quite a run. In recent years, Tom has transitioned to writing books. A few weeks ago, he finished his fourth book. It will be coming out this spring. I wonder who that fourth book is about. I highly recommend his first three books, especially if you're a Tigers fan and enjoy reading about some of the great players, seasons, and stories of this beloved Detroit team. Tom is like a storyteller when he writes, whether an article, a column, or a book. He always writes humor and clever insights. Finally, I can't end this intro without mentioning Tom's wife, Lisa. Tom called her the light of my life in his Coopertown induction speech. Without question, she has played a huge role in all his successes. And now, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce Tom Gage, one of the most celebrated sports journalists in Michigan history.
Well, thank you all for being here. So many of you are special to me. But I hate to break the mold. I did not compete at a particularly high level. I remember the day Katie called me though and said I had earned this great honor, and I said, well, it must be for my hockey career. And Chuck's right, I did get the first penalty in the history, as I recall, in the first penalty in the history of Cubs. I tripped the guy because he slashed me. And I got caught, and the Cranbrook guy didn't. I think it might have been mid-rounding, I don't know. My coach was Graham Craig, and he was mad at my retaliation, but off to the penalty box I went to serve my 2 minutes. I didn't draw blood, so it wasn't 5. So then I thought, well, if it wasn't for hockey, it must have been for soccer, because I was a decent player. But really, all I ever did for the soccer team was learn how to swear in Turkish. My senior year, we had a wonderful exchange student on the team, Oz Tadas, who stayed with the Gorey family on Stevens. I don't know if Lynn Gorey Schneider is here tonight. I hope she is. But Chick Gorey was his brother, and he was a dear friend, and we lost some weight to her. But Oz taught us how to swear in Turkish. And I thought it was really cool to run around the field, you know, blurting out these words the referee didn't understand. But it wasn't for soccer that I was elected. So then I thought, wait a minute, maybe it was for baseball. Because there was that day that Chuck Wright and I hit back-to-back triples. But that was in the 8th grade. And as I got older, I often fell down on a lot of fly balls that Bill hit to us. Bill, I think you, Bruce, you mentioned him, and he was a great coach, but he loved to hit those fly balls so high. And I always fell down while trying to catch him. And, it made him laugh, and but he was still a good coach. So it wasn't it wasn't for baseball. So I knew that it wasn't for football, because I was a skinny kid. And in 7th grade, Mark Weiss, who was a good friend, he weighed 170, and I weighed maybe 115. And I was a defensive back, and Mark was a running back, and I set a record for flying through the air when he hit me down. I don't know how many airborne seconds I spent, but there were many of them. And I also know it wasn't for basketball, because Clark Durant and I were co-captains on the JV basketball team. But I spent one entire game more worried about my pants ripping up the back than I did about my performance. So it wasn't anything that I did on the field that I was elected to this great honor. But I'm here because the teachers at this great school taught me how to write. They taught me how to use the English language. Now, not in a classic way. I'm not a novelist. But I learned how to write a fast story, a readable story, a newspaper sports story. I really did. So I went on to have the career I probably always was meant to have. But the first teacher who taught me creative writing, and he was here earlier until his wife had a mishap, was Bill Nestoff, who was my 5th grade teacher at Mayor School over in Rose Point City behind Kroger. And Bill had this wonderful talent of giving us a vocabulary list of 25 words and saying, put them into a short story. I want something creative out of this. And so, we turned it was a great assignment. We turned in a lot of stories about flying saucers and monsters and soldiers and stuff like that. But it was anything. He really said, write about anything you want to. So he was very, very influential. But when I got to Guppus, yeah, it was the Guppus Carnival after all. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I sold ice cream on this very spot. I was an excellent speller. I could write, and I was a voracious reader, especially about history, all of which the outstanding teachers here, such as Claire Lockhart, Bill Bellows, Donald Roberts, put to good use. My favorite class, though, was Latin, because Coach McCann was such a charismatic teacher. He also taught my dad, by the way. No, the reason I'm a Liggett Hall of Famer today isn't because of what I've accomplished on the field. It's what I learned in these classrooms that catapulted me into a journalism career. As the school song of the time went, we enjoyed golden times within these doors, memories of friendship and joy. And I covered the Tigers for 36 years, their ups, their downs, and 4 books later, here I am. Speaking of books, as Chuck just mentioned, I finished one just recently with a Tiger player who is called the Big Wheel, none other than the great Lance Parrish, who's here tonight with his lovely wife, Arlene. Here they are. Our book is called The Enchanted Season and will be out in the spring. Thanks for this immense honor. To everyone who was involved in nominating me and for voting for me. To my longtime friend, my longtime good friend, Chuck Wright, who always believed in me. To my wonderful wife, Lisa, my support and my saint. And thank you to my coaches and colleagues for putting up with me. But most of all, thanks to this wonderful school and its walls of wisdom standing firm. for educating me in such a way that I was judged to be worthy of being here today.
Wow, what a well-deserved honor for Tom and all of our inductees. Let's give one more round of applause for everyone. No two journeys are the same, right? And it's a special thing to see an individual whose journey may not have been the greatest athletic achievement, but how that student informed the athlete and informed so many athletes that he was able to actually write about and to bring their achievements to life. That's a special thing, and that's definitely deserving of this honor as a Hall of Famer. So one more round of applause for that. With that, I'd like you to please consider nominating our next class of Athletic Alumni Hall of Fame inductees. You'll be able to actually nominate them today. We have forms in the back. Also, take a look at your spring edition of the Perspective magazine. There will be pictures in there of tonight, as well as more opportunities to bring forth nominations. But tomorrow is homecoming, all right? And it's a special thing to be able to cap such an awesome Spirit Week that we've had for our students. The Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame tonight with a girls field hockey game at 4:30, a boys soccer. Remember, the undefeated, #1 ranked in Division IV, haven't let up a goal in 7 games, boys soccer team, also at 4:30. And then we get to enjoy our football team under the lights at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And so I encourage each of you to come out. There'll be food, there'll be fun, there'll be family. We'll have a spear station out there. For all our alum, you'll have the opportunity to get swagged out in our logo store with new and improved Liggett gear. I cannot guarantee there'll be guppus. But I'd like to invite tonight's inductees, presenters, and any past Hall of Fame inductees to come up to the podium for pictures as we conclude. And I want to thank everyone for taking a part of such a glorious occasion tonight. Thank you.